Well, Monty got into a chat with him over the bags, and it turns out that he is playing at a jazz festival in Tornedo. Well, we drove up this mountain, jolting and jiggling in our little mini moke from Soleil Rentals. I could barely hold my head on. And we got to this lovely yellow stucco house covered with purple bougainvillea. Out of the door emerged this woman in a shapeless black dress with her hair pulled back in a knot that resonated with a knot of disapproval on her face. I am Thérèse. I will be here at 7 to make up your rooms. I will be leaving at 9. 7? Thérèse, could you just get me some green-lipped mussels? Pardon, madame? Des moules avec des lèvres verts. Oh, ça n'existe pas, madame. Your dinner's in the Boma. She scowled at this breach of rental etiquette. No green-lipped mussels. This is a disaster. Well, I think I'll just go in and have a nice healing swim. This pool's not heated. Madame, is the tropics. No one heats. Au revoir. So I looked in the warmer to see what was for dinner. 2 dry-looking pork chops and some unadorned spaghetti. Monty, let's go out for dinner. But Monty's too tired. I thought that he'd take me out for dinner. There's nothing I can eat in this house, and I'm so hungry. You know, Town and Country says that there are little bistros here, and we could have bouillabaisse and tropical fruit. Thérèse has left the Beaujolais uncorked. Why don't we just have a wee drink? Oh, I forgot. Monty is an AA graduate, and he wants me to go to AA too. And I should, because I'm never going to give up drinking, mostly because I don't want to. I hate rules. Oh, Monty, you know what? There are a whole lot of rules in this house. We have to keep all the doors and windows shut because there are rainstorms despite the tropical heat, and we're not allowed to make any calls, even on our credit cards, long distance. Well, Monty ate up all the pork chops and the spaghetti, and I had a can of cheese balls full of chemicals, probably the worst thing. But I was just thinking, well, he's rather attractive with his gray hair curling over his blue shirt, and here we are, alone together, when he announced that he is driving into town to call up his ex-girlfriend and invite her down here. Now, Monty has been in a relationship with this ghastly Southern belle, and she moved into his apartment with her Pekingese, forcing him to leave and move in with his famous father in Connecticut. Monty, why? You hate her. Well, I don't want to hurt her feelings. I promise you she won't come. I should think that breaking up might hurt her feelings. I don't know why I should give a vacation to someone you don't even like. And I don't know. I took 4 Advil, and I lay down to watch the sunset. Like a golden poker chip among the purple clouds. Far below in the bay, the cruise ship's lights twinkled, and from it, nostalgic music floated up the canyon. Now, I think Noel Coward should come out in tuxedo pants and a silk backdrop and say, "Strange how potent cheap music is," the way he did in Private Lives. You know, Monty has a kind of Noel Coward quality. He's quite sophisticated. I could just see him in the phone booth with those long, lean legs encased in perfectly fitted twill pants, and his double-vented blazer over his monogrammed shirt, and his green eyes peeking over the tops of his tortoiseshell glasses, floppy salt and pepper hair. Might be nice to have a tropical fling with Monty. It's just been ages since anyone swept me off my feet. I'm in the mood for kisses in a tuberose wind, and my soon-to-be suntanned body bathed in tropical passion. Monty is smart, and he's a peer. I'm tired of all these young men who have pigtails and are young enough to be my children. The next day, Cliff arrived. Now, Monty had told him to pop over from some neighboring island, and he popped over today. I could kill Monty. Now this is turning into a house party. But Monty says that Cliff used to live in Tornedo years ago, and he knows lots of people. Well, that may be, but he arrived in crumpled shorts and a sweaty t-shirt, with his matted hair hanging in his eyes and a cigarette hanging out of the corner of his mouth. And he had the worst hacking cough. Well, on the way home, we stopped for some groceries at the supermarché, and it turns out that this is the high season in Tornedo, and there are practically no groceries because they don't grow any on the island. These, of course, were flown in by Concord. I paid. But the good thing is, Cliff is going to take us to a bistro tonight called Samsara. Then he said that he had to take a nap because he was so exhausted from talking to his girlfriend all night. You're going to love her. She's so spiritual. Really? Am I going to meet her? Yes, I've asked her down to join us. I feel as though the elevator went down too fast. There's a new spasm in my back. My neck has an iron rod in it. I go foraging in the aspirin bottle for the Valium I know is stashed there against doctor's orders. What I need is something calming. Yoga by the swimming pool in the setting sun. But Monty has commandeered the swimming pool to do his Tibetan mantras. Well, I'll do it on the deck outside my room. But I share that deck with Cliff, and I don't want him to come out and find me trying to get into the plow position. I'll just have to do it in my room where there isn't any room and there isn't any sunset. I seem to be having a terrible problem with boundaries. I met the boys in the living room at 7, and Cliff was sitting in a chair with a bottle of vodka by his side and a drink in his hand. So I said, thanks so much for bringing the booze. Oh, I found it under the kitchen cabinet. You're looking awfully formal. In jeans and a silk shirt. I thought we were going to some nifty bistro. Oh, let's save it till we're all here. I am here. I mean till the girls come. Asha and Violetta. Who's Asha? Wait a minute. Monty, you told me that Violetta wasn't coming. Well, she is, tomorrow. And Asha is Cliff's girlfriend, and she's coming Friday. You guys should have been travel agents. I thought Monty was my friend. Now, if I ask them to leave, I'm admitting defeat. I'm admitting that I care that they ask their girlfriends down here. I'm admitting that I care they're not interested in me. And I was brought up to have a stiff upper lip. But if I don't ask them to leave, I'm defeating my whole time down here. This is the dilemma, the silk or the butterfly. Well, Cliff said he'd take us all to the Thatch for dinner and that I would love it. Monty drove, and Cliff sat next to him because he said that the wind in the back is bad for his flu. I am just ballast for the sharp turns, and by the time we got there, I looked as if I'd been quaffed by a helicopter. But it's Thai, and I love Thai food, and I can eat it on my diet. Rice, vegetables, shrimps. Thai food. It's Thai decor. Cliff had a double vodka, and Monty and I were having Perrier, while Gwendolyn, our waitress, reeled off the specials that were unavailable tonight. Cliff was in ecstasies over her. Oh, those African girls really have the bodies. Look at that chocolate back in the white halter dress. Well, I feel about as sexy as a slug. And my silk shirt seems impossibly square. Gwendolyn, honey, another vodka. And a glass of white wine for me, please. Here I go. Cliff's compulsive behavior just triggers my own. It's like a ball rolling downhill faster and faster. Oh, why don't we have some wine and some bread and some more everything? My ex-husband Winston would have said that I'm becoming a maenad, one of those crazy, inebriated women of Dionysius. I just can't be around people who bring out my worst self. Poor baby, said Monty. You haven't had a lover since Skye, have you? Well, it's a great deal better than being at the beck and call of a lot of neurotic lovers. I'm fine, thanks. I never did see what you saw in him. Well, he was terribly inappropriate. You're just going to laugh at me. But he was like this beautiful animal. Only he was really funny looking, like a gnome. But sometimes he was beautiful. I don't know what I was thinking of. He didn't even own a pair of shoes. But he had these incredible eyes. One day, I was making sculptures in my studio, and I went out on the grass to lie down and rest. And he came over. Well, actually, what had happened was, I asked him to give my house guests massages. And Polly said that was the best massage. And I said, oh, wasn't it spiritual? She said, darling, that was the most sexual massage I've ever had. Well, I've been having massages from him for months, and I thought he was so attractive. Well, she said, why don't you have an affair with him? Really? I have permission to have an affair with a masseur? I never thought about that before. So, that afternoon, when he came over and lay down on the grass next to me, I just pulled his face towards me and gave him a kiss. Well, it was incredible. The next thing I knew, I hired an architect to build a house on a mountain I had to buy. I was going to grow corn and eat out of gourds. I completely lost perspective. Then I remembered my meditation teacher had said to me, why don't you have a fling to get over your divorce? A fling, of course. I forgot it was a fling. When I came back to my senses, it was completely humiliating for both of us. I guess oxytocin took over. I mean, 1 minute I was having a fling, and the next minute I was nesting. Well, my moule marinière arrived at the same time as the check from Gwendolyn, and driving back, Cliff leaned over the wind in the moat, and he said, you're not having fun, Bo. Oh, yes, I am, I lied, automatically holding onto the roll bar. Dear life. Yes, yes, fun, fun. I'm just a pop-up doll. All night, the wind blared its nervous song, and the wine kept me awake with anxious spirits. Less than a year ago, I was having an affair with Skye. Could I really have aged that much in 9 months?